Could you use some help with your relationships? Hi, I'm Cora Naylor, certified coactive coach and emotion co-practitioner. One of the things I often see as a life coach for empty nesters is the need for improved relationships. After the kids move out, a lot of our relationships may need some work. Relationships with our partner, with our kids, our friends, a lot of those things can change. So, to give us some tips on how to improve our relationships, I've invited Trina Chabot to join us today. Trina is the author of MeYouQ, Life Changing Protocols for People Leaders. She's the owner of Tree for Supervisors, where she uses the MeYouQ concept in her training and coaching programs. Trina believes that all people should have the opportunity to live with peace and purpose, and that they can do this through self-awareness and self-appreciation, as well as valuing and appreciating others. So welcome, Trina.
Oh, thank you so much, Cora. I'm so happy to be here. This is so exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about your book and the relationships. I just have one quick question though. What is MeYouQ? Like, where did that name come from?
Oh, we're going to cover that.
Okay.
Yeah, it took a while to come up with that name, but really what I wanted was for MeYouQ to be taken seriously, like EQ, which is emotional intelligence. People think it's kind of the same thing, but I see it very differently. So I'll explain that today.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, because you were telling me before that the books and the business sort of arose out of your own midlife crisis. So maybe you can give us an idea what happened there.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose I went through what a lot of other people go through. I grew up thinking, I just want to get married and have kids. That was life on the farm for me. That was the big vision of the world, right? I didn't really know what other possibilities would be. So that's the path I went on. But then after a while, it was like, I was someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's cook, someone's cleaner. And I felt, just people pleasing. I really lost myself. I was also a teacher, so giving that way as well. And I felt stuck and unhappy, and it was getting serious. And I started to think about what my daughters would do without their mother. So, there's something wrong when you're starting to get depressed like that, right? So it was time to make a change. And for me, that change was my marriage. And it was tough. I was the one who left, and that's never easy. But then I carried the guilt of hurting my kids, hurting my ex-husband. And geez, I need to drink some water here. This is therapy.
Yeah, it can be emotional when we tell our stories and we never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, for sure. So just, I was dealing with those emotions, but I had also started another relationship, and I was starting to see some parallels, like, thinking, are all men the same? I thought I left that, and then I'm here again. He's not always doing what I want him to do or saying what I want him to say. And then it clicked, like, oh, maybe it's me. So I had some personal work to do because I didn't want to live that life again. I wanted something better. I wanted this new relationship to work. Could I go back and fix the other one? I think it was too late. I know it was too late. There was too much resentment built up. So, I would suggest to people to not let it go that far. So I turned to energy work, actually. I had a friend who was doing body talk. She could see that I needed some help, and she said, just get on the table. Let's see what happens. And that seemed weird to me. I had never done anything like that before, but I kept an open mind, got on the table, and a couple of things came out of that were really important. One was that I had a lot of rage built up in me from coworkers and my ex-husband. And the other one, so I needed to get rid of that so I wouldn't become ill. That's what emotions do to us, right? And the other one was that she said my body was craving spirituality. And I had no idea what that meant. So I was off on a journey to find out what it meant to be spiritual. And I turned to self-help books to help me do that. And it was very helpful. And I ended up writing my own self-help book as well. So that was that part of the journey. So know,
important.
helping me to be more peaceful in my life, to feel like I have a purpose. And so for me, being spiritual is linking to something larger than me and seeing that I am on this earth for a reason and I have purpose.
Right. Yeah. And dealing with the emotions, like you said, is so important. I think a lot of us really bury things that have happened thinking that we've dealt with it. I know I use the emotion code to help people with their emotions because we often don't deal with them and they can cause all kinds of problems, especially when you want to start new relationships or change relationships because we can have blocks around all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what just made you decide to write this book?
Well, the book is actually it was a tool for supervisors. And, in Canada, we have the Canadian Psychological Health and Safety Standard, which is great for reducing toxicity in the workplace. But the problem I felt was that supervisors didn't have the interpersonal skills to care for employees the way they need to care for them in order to support them in their mental health. So I wrote it as a tool, and as I was writing it, I thought, how are supervisors going to get to a point where they care about someone else and helping them meet their needs? And I thought, oh, that's kind of what I've gone through. So I used the process that I'd gone through to create a map for supervisors. And now I'm taking that MeYouQ process and creating other books. So right now I'm working on one for coworkers, and then a relationship one will come in the future as well, because I think it's simple and powerful. Yeah. So did you want me to explain the me, the you, and the Q?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the me part is working on me first. So you come to know and manage yourself. So first of all, we see that we are a unique individual with a variety of characteristics. Like no two people are the same, right? We were born differently, we were raised differently, we've had different experiences. And I think a lot of us get caught up in not liking ourselves and trying to be someone else. And that is so unhealthy that we have to concentrate on knowing ourselves and kind of laughing at ourselves too, I think. And so once we really can see those different traits, we can talk about managing them. So I use an acronym called RUM, which should be easy for people to remember. So we recognize the traits, then we understand how the trait might be impacting our life, whether it's the relationship or our behavior. So we see that, oh, maybe this is happening to me because this is the way I am. For example, maybe I'm controlling or competitive, or I need hugs all the time, very needy that way. So we can see that people might not look at us in a positive light if we're behaving that way. So then the M is to manage the behavior by consciously choosing to act differently. So I think, we are who we are, and it's very difficult to change that, but we can always change how we behave, or we can work on our thinking as well. So that would be the me part. And then going on to the you part, once we can see ourselves as a unique individual and we start to love ourselves, we have the self-awareness, we have the self-appreciation, we also see that we are on earth for a purpose. We can now see other people that way as well. We were all born equally. We all have these traits that came from our upbringings. We can't help what happened to us while we were growing up. And we have to see, so we have to reserve judgment of other people, treat them equally, as a unique individual who's valued, and then just help them achieve their goals, help them meet their needs, do what we can to support them without trying to change them. So, I would look at my new husband now and say, I am who I am and he is who he is. And all I can do is love him and help support him. And then the Q part is building quality rapport, first of all. So, maybe at first, before you're building a relationship, quality rapport means talking about things other than sports and the weather, but really showing that you care about people, that you care about their interests, or if it's someone you're just meeting, you care about their hobbies or their children or so on. So, with a spouse, it can be showing interest in something that they're interested in, such as poker night, even though you might not be interested in that. And then you can really build those relationships where you can have those difficult conversations. And I call them working relationships. Even though you're not at work, you still need to have the same types of relationships in your home to get things done, to make decisions together, to cooperate, to make sure that people are having their needs met. So that would be the cue. And then I just put it all together and I say, MeYouQ is my mantra. So when my mind starts going to where it shouldn't be, I just say, oh, MeYouQ, I am who I am. Just, get focused and deal with it.
Yeah.
It
So do you
really,
have, if you're not getting any response back from people, like, we all have our kind of things that we have and needs that we want, but what if we're giving and not receiving kind of thing? Is there any
Mhm.
tips on that?
Oh, yes. Believe me. Something that I have learned in my life is that I need to speak up for myself. And I feel that in my first marriage, I was not able to do that. I allowed him to kind of control things and to convince me of what I wanted. And now I could, like, now that I'm out of it, I could see that that's what was happening. So the whole point of building that solid relationship is so that I can speak up for my needs. And one of the things that has really worked for me is saying, I need to insist. So I feel like I'm not being listened to, and I need to insist right now that I have my needs met. Whatever, either you just allow me to go and have my needs met, or like whether it's shopping or whatever it is, or I need you to listen to me and take me seriously. And, because you've put in all that work into building the relationship, it should be reciprocated, and if it's not, that's another conversation.
And I think if you can do that in a calm way, when it's not in the middle of a fight or something, it's going to work a lot better.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about having a mantra, whatever it is for you, is it helps you to just center yourself and not react, right? So,
Yeah.
I find we don't even get into a situation where it's heated and I'm not calm because I've practiced it so much now that when I'm starting to feel like, oh, this isn't going well, I quickly like take his perspective. Okay, what is he wanting in this situation? Why is he asking for it this way? What does he need from me? And then I ask different questions and we're able to resolve things. So it does take practice, but people can get better at it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So just as we're getting down to the last few minutes here, what's your the greatest lessons you've learned through your transformation that would be helpful for these other women empty nesters that are watching today?
Oh yeah, if you knew then what you know now. Oh, so a few things, I guess. One of them came out of actually a meditation session, and I don't really meditate, but I went to one, and after we got into everything, she says, "Okay, now everyone came here for a reason today. Go there now." And so I was just, lying there thinking, "Why did I come?" And then I actually felt a separation of myself and my mind and body. It was so weird. And I realized that what I had been looking for was freedom from myself, freedom from judgment, from self-criticism, all of those things. So, sometimes when we're not feeling well, it's because of that our minds are doing those things. So one of the biggest things I would say is to get in touch with, what your brain is telling you, what your mind is saying to you, and just see that it's not healthy, it's not right, and we can think differently.
Yeah. I
Um,
think sometimes it's helpful to always to look at, like, if your best friend was coming to you with this problem that you have, what would you tell your best friend?
that's
So
good
kind of
advice.
step away from yourself a little bit, because you're always much harder on yourself than you would be on somebody else. And so we need to
Absolutely.
be a little bit kinder to ourselves, especially
Mhm.
these days with so much going on in the world. It's a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess a couple more, just on the spiritual side, I've I call it the universe, so I trust more in the universe, that I'm here for a certain purpose, and that, you know, the universe will provide what I'm looking for, but also that I don't have to wait to see my purpose on earth, because I know that I've been living it all along. Everything I've done, everything I'm doing, everything I'm going to do is all about my purpose. And even when I'm going through tough times, it's giving me the skills that I need for what I'm going to be doing in the future. So, you know, it just helps you get over those tough times and just know that it's all part of the master plan. And, you know, whether you believe in that or not, I think to brainwash yourself is very useful.
Yeah,
Just keep telling yourself that's how it is, and then you don't have to worry about the right answer.
right, right.
Yeah.
And we're just wrapping up. I think you have something special you were going to offer people that are
Yeah,
watching, or that
so
are watching it not today, maybe a little bit later.
little bit later. So I do have my MeYouQ book on Kindle for download. So you can, if you're like a Prime member or whatever, I think you can download it anyway. But on June 12th, it is National Loving Day. And I'm going to put my book for free for that day only. So I have the ability to go in and just midnight to midnight allow free downloads. So make a note in your calendar to go to Kindle and do that. So I'll just show you the,
I
where's
am
the
going to.
book? This isn't keeping up with me. There it is at the top.
Oh yeah,
Me.
there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if anybody else wants to, reach out to Trina and learn more about their programs that she does, she's amazing at what she does. Her website's running along here. You can reach out anytime and learn more about her programs for, yeah, in the workplace, because those relationships are really important too. And if you're an empty nester and you're not part of my empty nester group yet, just comment below with a yes, and we'll get you added into my group. And that way you can be around some other women that are in the same boat as you, and we can support each other while we go through this journey. And you'll also find out more about what we've got coming up for more interviews. So thanks again, Trina, so much for joining me today. It was lovely to have you on, and I look forward to getting your book. And have a great day, everybody. We'll see you
Thank you,
soon.
Cora.